Hello, welcome to Todd Miller TV. There's this growing debate in the industry and something that's sort of just come up recently about whether it's ethical or not for an agent to tell all the other real estate agents and hence all the other buyers the amounts of offers on a property. And so what I got was this email that basically said that if the listing agent doesn't actually tell everybody else what all the other offer amounts are and all the terms, that they're being unethical. And the reason they're being unethical is because they're not promoting their client's interests, and if they did that, they would make more money for their clients. So I'm going to first talk about the ethical side of that, then I'm going to talk about the actual statistical mathematical model that houses all that. So first of all, with ethics. So the way ethics work is in the real estate community is something that was formed by the National Association of Realtors, and it's a blanket thing that covers all realtors no matter where they are. Now the problem is that that model is not like the court system. There's no precedence. So I'll give you an example. You can have an agent in one part of the country who gets put up on an ethics complaint because they didn't tell any of the agents anything about any offers, they didn't disclose presence of offers, didn't do anything, and they could say that hurt my client, and a realtor panel could listen to the facts and find that agent guilty. On the other side of the country, you could have the opposite. You could have an agent that tells every single other agent that calls all the offers they have, how much they are, what the terms are, because they're promoting their client's property, trying to get more money, and that some agent could file an ethics complaint saying, hey, they were being unethical because they disclosed the terms of my offers to other people. My client, my buyer, didn't want other people to know what our offer was. It's not public information, it was a private thing, and they could find that person unethical. So to handle the ethics side of this, you can't. You can debate this all you want, and I think people get caught up in that debate because there is no answer to it. It's sometimes pointless to debate things where you can't, there's no right or wrong. Okay, so we're going to put the ethics side away. We're going to talk about the mathematical model and the idea that if you're telling everybody, giving, in other sense, perfect information about a property, that you're going to net the person the most money or whatever. So all of this is rooted in something called game theory. Game theory was something that I studied extensively while I was at the Naval Academy. It's something I studied extensively while I was a pilot in the Marine Corps, and also while I was in graduate business school getting my MBA. What game theory is it's a statistical mathematical model for predicting behavior given some level of uncertainty, which is exactly what you have. And the idea is that you have this thing called an uncertainty correlation, which means the more uncertain something is, the more you're actually going to correlate to a better model to predict how to determine behavior and determine a result. This is something that law enforcement uses extensively, prisoner's dilemma, things like that. So what I'm going to, and I probably said all that and you're probably scratching your head going, what's he talking about? So I'm going to show you some examples, and I'm going to explain why they work this way. So we're going to talk about a property. Now I'm intentionally not going to put a list price because a list price provides information. So really what buyer agents believe, real estate agents who work with buyers believe, is the more information they have and their client have, the better chance they have of getting a property. So in this case, we're going to take a situation where there's 3 agents working with 3 different buyers on one property. Well, even if you're not really good at math, you should understand that 1 agent will get it and 2 will not. The odds of any agent getting that property are 1 in 3. Now, you're probably saying, well, if I give everybody the information, I can somehow get, if I have information, I can get a better chance, right? Well, you really don't, because you have just as much of a probability with complete uncertainty as you do with complete certainty. Meaning if I tell everybody, or if the agent tells everybody, you still have a 1 in 3 chance because only one person is going to get it. It's not like you magically have an edge over somebody. You really don't, okay? You may have had a situation where somebody told you something and you got the deal and now you believe that, but there are other times when that didn't happen. And so statistically it's 1 in 3. You can't argue with that. Only one person is going to get the house, 1 agent is going to get paid, 1 buyer is going to get the house, you're going to have to go elsewhere. So we're going to talk about 2 systems. One has complete certainty, one has complete uncertainty. Now, we're talking about whether I'm promoting my client's interest if I give out all the information. So we're going to start with something you guys have probably all seen, which is called an auction. Now in an auction, we start with an opening bid and everybody bids up to their pain point, and at that point only one person gets the property. They get it for just above what somebody else was willing to pay. The reason why the buyer and the agent want as much information is because they're trying to sharpshoot that number. They want to get the house, but they only want to get it for as much money as they can without having to bid over. So we're talking about an auction. So what we have is buyers, these three buyers, and this is their pain point on a property. This one's willing to pay 95, this one 97, and this one 100 for the purposes of auction. Now, for the purposes of auction, when the bidding starts, let's just say there's a bid increment of $100. So the bidding will start, they'll all open, they'll be bidding. When it gets to 95,000, this person will stop bidding. And this person maybe will say 95.1, 95.2, it'll keep going. Well, when this gets to 97.1, or 97,000, this guy will stop. This guy will bid 97.1. So, at auction, 97, $100 will be the sale price. That'll be the amount the seller gets. The buyer will have scored because he got the house for as little as he possibly could have, because for less this person would have got it. And that's that. So if you don't believe me, go to any auction and you'll see that somebody gets it, usually $1, $100, or something just over the last person. They bid up incrementally until somebody stops bidding. Now, we're going to talk about the statistical model of uncertainty and how that works. So with uncertainty, people change their decision-making modes, and as you're probably well aware, banks especially, because banks all use this uncertainty model, banks don't want other offers disclosed because they don't want the buyers coordinating and cooperating with each other through their agents to not pay the seller money. The listing agent, in his job to promote the property, get as much money as possible, it's better to have more uncertainty. This is why. In this model here, these three offers come in. This person says 95, this person says 97, this person says $100,000. So obviously, with the uncertainty of knowing what these offers are, this person here just comes in with what they're going to pay, right? So at this point, they're willing to pay $100,000. That's more than this amount. Now, what this highest and best thing does here, it's really cool. If a seller looked at all the offers that came in and just picked one, that's actually bad for the seller. In some ways, it's better to go back out and force them to iterate again. Because now what they start doing is they start getting in their head and they start thinking of, because remember, they don't have knowledge of other offers. All they know is what they have. So they desperately seek information. They're begging the other agent for everything. How do I look? Like, do I look good? Like, to try to get information. You guys know you do it. If you don't realize this, your agents are doing it. They're trying to get information because they're trying to sharpshoot this model. So in this model, this highest and best model, what happens is, let's say that one of these people actually is willing to go a little higher, and let's say it's this guy right here. Let's say that absent of information, he goes, I'm just going to raise my bid to 105 because I don't really know. I mean, maybe I'm not the highest one. So he comes out here and says 105. Whatever these people do, maybe they come up or not, it doesn't matter. But over in this model, the house sells for 105,000. So the model of more uncertainty statistically, the expected value mean, not necessarily for one specific property, but done over thousands of properties with lots of different buyers, all dealing with the same uncertainty, you will get more money for your seller. So if you're the listing agent and you're providing all the information, you're telling everybody, you're never going to get this for your seller. The logic is, people will start aggressively overbidding, blah, 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 which is the number one thing I hear. Well, but aggressive bidding, blah, blah, they always say that. But think about it. If you think that's the truth, go to the trustee sale or go to an auction, real estate auction they have in town, and you tell me if people are overbidding for houses. They're not. They're coordinating through their public bidding. They all know what everybody else is bidding, and at some point they stop. Meaning, because they can hear what the other bids are, they get the properties for less than market value. That's the whole point of an auction, is they're distressed sales of properties. It doesn't mean the properties are being sold are in bad shape, because if you go to the trustee sale, you'll see this in action. You can't really argue with the model. If you want to Google all this and kind of go online and sort of find out some information, there's a lot out there. If you're a listing agent, if you're a bank, the banks have figured it out. They build models for everything. This is the best model that the banks like. Most uncertainty. Buyer agents like a lot of uncertainty. The bottom line is, in either case, only one person gets a property. There's not really an advantage to a buyer agent. The advantage to the buyer is knowing as much information as possible to push you more toward this side of the model. The least information you get is better for the seller, pushes you to this side of the model. trying to argue ethics within this mathematical model doesn't make sense. That's a completely different debate that happens in a room with 3 panel members and all the facts. So